Okay, so here we are working on my 2004 Ford Explorer with a 4.6 liter V8 engine. And the problem I've been having here lately is an intermittent starting problem. I'll go and start the car. One time it'll work fine. The next time I get nothing. No click, no nothing. Turn on the lights and everything. The battery seems to be up and good. Have to jump the car to get the car running. Once the car's running, no problem. Drive it all day long if you like. Shut it off, maybe it starts, maybe it don't. Took the vehicle to Advance Auto. Had them run a check on it, which they do for free. And everything came back good. The battery's good, the alternator's good. With the exception of, if you can read it here, low cranking amps. And what this basically says is, starter amp draw is low with OK starter voltage. Check starter circuit for loose, worn, or corroded wiring. And that's what we're going to do today. The tools you're going to need for this project are a ratchet, 13mm and 10mm socket. Or if you prefer, you can use a 10mm wrench or a 13mm wrench. You're going to need a screwdriver to remove a plastic cover. You're going to need a wire brush terminal to clean up the battery, or if you like, use the drill. Basically, you start out, or what I did is I started out here, clean up the battery terminals. Nothing special there. Even though the battery did come back checked okay, I went ahead and put a trickle charge on it for 8 hours, 2 amps, just to be sure. Another thing you're going to want to check is this here is the power distribution box. You unsnap the lid from the front, swing it towards the back, and in the back here you're going to see 3 big black relays. The center relay is for your starting system. Now, I'm no electrical engineer. I don't know how to test them and see if one's bad or not, but I do know that all 3 of these are the same. Just simply swap one out with the other for diagnostic purposes. And that's real easy. They just pull straight up, swap them, go from there. Now, we've got bad weather coming in, so I don't got time to test each thing and see what it is and go on down the line, so I'm just going to do everything at once. Once you've got your battery terminals cleaned, you swap out your relay. What I like to do is clean up all my grounds, just for general practice. It's a good practice to get into. Any of you guys who have older trucks, you'll know that grounds are very important to keep clean. On this particular unit, I found 3. There's a ground unit here. Now, I have no clue what it goes to. Don't really care. Just undo it, clean it up, and put it back together. There's another grounding stud right there in front of the battery. Just undo it, clean it up, put it back together. This one here was a little bit of the monster. This here is your power steering pump, and there's a nut there. Take that off. I took that whole thing off, wire brushed it up with the drill, put everything back together. No problem there. There's also a grounding strap over here on the right fender. Same thing. Undo it, clean it up, put it back on. Now you can probably, you know, these 3 here on the 2 on the fenders and the front radiator support, you probably don't really need to do that for your starting problem. But I do recommend you taking the time to get at this one here. This is the grounding wire that goes from the battery to the motor. This is important because your starter grounds through your engine block. So this could be one of your problems right here. Now if you notice, I've got some a protective film on there. They make all kinds of different products. The products that I use is called fluid film, and it's just a rust corrosion protection spray. Nothing big deal. You can use just about anything you like. Alright, now that you've got all them bases there pretty much covered, time to get underneath the vehicle. Now, of course, once you get your vehicle jacked up properly, secured with jack stands, you're going to want to come up underneath here, and the first thing you're going to want to do is follow the wiring. Now, in the past, and right here I am looking just past the guard. This is on the driver's side. This is the drain guard for your oil filter. And what has happened in the past, a lot of times, that wire loom right there will rub up against that plastic downspout and start to sever your wires. One of those wires goes to your starter. So it's important to look at this wire loom. Right there's like a little wire clip. Check this wire loom all the way over to the starter. Now I'm on the right side of the vehicle, and there's the starter. Now as you can see, I've already gotten the wires off and already got them brushed up. The two big copper nuts are the 13 millimeters, and the little silver post there is a 10 millimeter. It's important to take that wire, make sure you get that wire that comes from the actual starter to the starter solenoid. It's the one that's way up there on the top. Make sure you pull that one off of the stud for the solenoid and make sure that's clean. That, when I did mine, when I got underneath here and cleaned all that up, that was the worst one and is most likely the problem. Simply clean all them nuts up, clean the post up. It was a little bit of a pain to get the big drill up in there, but you know, I got it done. Take your time, no need to be a hero. There's that red cap that I showed you guys earlier, fits over those three studs. It's just a protective cap, and you use the screwdriver to take the cap off. No big deal there. Once I get you know, done shooting the video, it's hard to wrench and shoot at the same time, but once I get done, I'll go ahead and tighten those nuts back up. Put the starting wires back on. Right now I've just got them sitting up there. The big one, which is the positive wire coming from the battery, right there, that goes to the lower big post, and then there's a small wire, which is the one that normally gets cut with that plastic drain spout. That goes to that little post there, which would be your signal wire. That's the one that tells it to engage. If I understand all this correctly. These solenoids, they say, normally go bad. It looks like if you was a yoga instructor, you might be able to take that solenoid off while it's still on the starter. I do not know that for a fact though, because I haven't done it. Today we're just going to clean stuff up and go from there. So that pretty much is all we're going to do now, and I'll give you guys a look-see at it after I get it all buttoned back up. Okay, so here we are wrapping up the project. As you can see, I got the wires put back on. I've got them sprayed down with fluid film, and I'm getting ready to put that red cap back on, which is probably no big deal really, but a couple of things that you should be aware of. A, when you're spraying this fluid film from the bottom, make sure you're not directly below it. You want to be off to the side, because it will drip back down on you. B, you can spray the bottom up pretty good from the bottom side, but you can't spray the top pretty good from the bottom side. So then all you got to do is, once you got it up in the air, just simply come in through the fender well. You can sneak the can right up in there through the fender well and get to the top side and hose it down from the top side also. Then simply, you know, put the cap back on and double check everything. Make sure your wiring is good. Make sure you didn't disturb nothing to where it's going to hit something. And then you're done. Well, I hope this video helps somebody out. And as always, have a nice day. Okay, after looking at the videos, I wanted to go back and clarify on a few things here. Make sure I ain't confusing anybody or you know, putting people under the wrong impression or anything like that. Number one, these grounding straps. There's one on each fender that I found that I cleaned up, and there's one on the front radiator support that I cleaned up. These probably have very little to do with the starting situation. I just cleaned these up as general practice, and therefore I didn't include those tools in on my tooling list at the beginning of the video. Should you decide to clean these 3 points up also, the grounding bolts here for the ground wires coming up on the fenders is an 8mm, and the one in the radiator support is an 11mm. Also, I'd like to point out, I know it's not crystal clear to some people on how to use a product like fluid film, but let's just get this out of the way, okay? You don't absolutely have to use a protectant on these contacts. That's just an extra, going the extra mile type of thing to help keeping it from getting corroded down the road. It'll work perfectly fine without using any kind of a protectant. And should you choose to use a protectant like fluid film, you do not put it together wet. And what I mean by that is, you'll take the post off, or you'll take the nut off, or you'll take the bolt out. You'll clean everything up with the wire brush. You'll put it together dry, just like this, nothing on it. And then you spray your protectant on top of it. Okay, you do not take it apart, clean it up, spray it all down, getting all the nooks and crannies, and then put it together. You want to put it together dry and then spray it over top. That'll give you the best connection. And so that should just about be it. I've got everything back together, started the car up. Car seems like it's working fine. Hopefully I won't have to go underneath there and replace the starter. Should these steps here not solve my problem, that is going to be the next step. The next thing to do would go out and spend $100, I think it is, for a new starter, or maybe just get the starting solenoid and replace the starting solenoid if that's an option. I haven't really looked into it that far yet, so I don't know if I can even do that with this particular starter. I think I can, but I'm not sure. But so far, this is the beginning steps of diagnosing this kind of a problem. And I hope this video is good information for somebody. And you know, have a nice day.